So I am not very smart sometimes, and so today I accidentally deleted my 10th day of Christmas video, 10 insects jumping, or whatever it was. So we're gonna redo that, and I'm gonna repost it at 12:25 on New Year's Eve, because oops. So just pretend that this was still from, I guess it's technically yesterday. This is still the 10th day of Christmas. We're redoing it because I was dumb and accidentally deleted it. But, you know, maybe this was a blessing in disguise, because I didn't totally love the 10th day of Christmas video I had before, so we're just gonna redo her. So, for the 10 Lords of Leaping, let's talk about some of the best jumpers or leapers in the animal kingdom, because my mother gave me that idea, and that's better than what I had before. So if you saw the video before, you get exclusive content, I guess. If you're seeing the video now, this is a better one. To start off, we of course have to talk about the fleas. Fleas are, in regards to body size, the best jumper in the animal kingdom. They can jump a max of around 8 inches, which comparatively is very impressive due to the fact that these guys are tiny. So in regards to their body size, they can jump like the best out of everything. This is due to a protein called resilin that is in the joints of the thorax. It's a very elastic protein, and that allows extra kinetic energy to be stored in order for the flea to have a massive energy release when it wants to jump. So resilin is this very special, very elastic protein that just stores so much energy that the flea can just, you know, as fleas do. I feel like this video is not going to make sense because it is very late at night, and also my mother's boyfriend gave me quite a lot of tequila. Next up, we have the froghopper, another type of insect that has the record for the highest and farthest insect jump. It is larger than a flea, so fleas do have kind of the best comparative to body size, but the overall record for highest and farthest jump is held by the froghopper. Of course, we have to give a mention to my favorite type of spider and one of my favorites all around animals, the jumping spider. For jumping spiders, the distance and height generally varies depending on species and individual, but it maxes out at around 20 to 25 times their own body length. So however big the spider is, about 20 times that. So that is absolutely ridiculous. It's like, imagine jumping 20 times your own body length. That's way too far for me to do the math. For the mammal representation of the farthest jumps, the record holder is the snow leopard with a max leap of 50 feet in length, which is very impressive. Going to the opposite end, this is the pumpkin toadlet, and these are a very small species of frog that absolutely cannot jump. Okay, well that's not entirely accurate. They can jump, they just can't land. They're so small that the little inner parts of their ear that are responsible for balance and help with landing in other frogs, these guys are so small that that part of the inner ear does not form fully and properly, so these guys can jump, they just get lost in the air and really cannot land well. In a similar vein to the pumpkin toadlet, it is actually impossible for elephants to jump due to the bone structure in their legs. It just doesn't work. Due to the structure and angling of their legs, they can't actually get that push off of the ground in order to generate the power and thrust you need to actually jump. So elephants cannot jump at all. Going back to animals that can jump, this is a springtail, a little guy, not an insect, a different thing, but it's still an arthropod that lives in the soil, and they're called springtails because they use the end of them, much in the same way as a flea, to spring up in defense if there's a predator there, just as an escape or a warning threat that, hey, you don't really want to eat me, do you? And again, these guys can get several inches high off the ground in their jump, which is very impressive because they are teeny tiny. Back to the mammals, we have this guy, which is called I think I'm going to pronounce this right, barrel or barrel. It is also known as the blue sheep, but it is also a very impressive jumper that can get over 2 meters high, which is very impressive. There are also snakes that somewhat jump. This is called the jumping viper. It is a type of pit viper that has a strike that is so aggressive and energetic that sometimes it can launch itself off of the ground, which is great. You never want a snake to strike at you anyway, and you especially don't want a snake to strike at you that can jump at you very aggressively. These guys are very angry snakes. And finally, to round out our 10 jumping animals, an animal that surprisingly can jump, the ocean sunfish or the mola mola. Now this isn't technically jumping because it's not pushing off of a solid surface, but it is breaching, and it's just shooting itself out of the water, and they can reach max of like 10 or so feet out of the water, which is very high, and this is again not an animal you expect to be jumping like that. So this rounds out our second 10th day of Christmas with 10 jumping animals, 9 days of dancing plague, 8 smallpox vaccinations, exactly 7 swan species, 6 cobra chickens, 5 golden animals, 4 screaming birds, 3 wonder chickens, 2 population declining turtle doves, and a partridge not in a pear tree. Enjoy this. It's probably better, but maybe worse.